Hello there, welcome to another video example of MetaCall. My name is Jose, and today we are going to use MetaCall to add a newsletter to a static page, then create a webhook to replicate the user data into DynamoDB. So let's jump right into it. I've cloned the MetaCall MailChimp DynamoDB example repo in my machine. It contains the two node modules that are going to be deployed: Subscribe.js, Webhook.js, and also the newsletter static page. Let's check out subscription first. As you can see, it makes use of two required environment variables: MailChimp API key and MailChimp target list. We'll get into that later. Here we have the async function subscribe that we need exported so MetaCall knows you want it deployed. Subscribe accepts two parameters. One is the email from the user to be subscribed, and the other is the status. This last one is optional. You can get more info about MailChimp statuses in the link I provided here. The function makes an async call to our MailChimp API with the token to subscribe the email in our predefined target list, the audience. We will get that ID from MailChimp in a bit. Let's see the webhook now. This behaves differently from the subscriptions one, since MetaCall allows you to load Express or any server and access it through the port-based URL. I'll show you right after how that URL looks in the dashboard. The Express opens a post endpoint called webhook, and this will receive the MailChimp confirmation for user subscriptions. Inside this callback, we prepare and call the DynamoDB putItem method with the corresponding parameters. The reason behind this kind of useless get is that MailChimp will need it later for the webhook verification. So now let's show you my DynamoDB. I have already configured the table newsletter subscriptions in DynamoDB with the primary key email, which is a string. Although it was very easy to do, in this video I will not be covering how to create DynamoDB tables. Let's go to MailChimp. This is my recently created free-tier MailChimp account. This is the audience, the container of the subscribed emails, and as you can see, it is empty. To get the ID, you simply go to Settings and search for the unique ID. That will be our first environment variable, MailChimp target list. Let's store that apart somewhere. The other environment variable we need is the API key. You can create one going to Account, Extras, API Keys, and click on Create a Key. Next step will be compressing the folder or pushing to GitHub in order to deploy it as a repository. So we proceed to compress the file, and now it's ready to go. Finally, we go inside the MetaCall dashboard and select Deploy, Deploy zip, and select the file, or you can simply drag and drop. We select the files to deploy, adding the environment variables will be the last step for this deployment. We add the AWS secret and access key from your account and the MailChimp that we separated before. Press deploy and wait for it to do its thing. The file selected will be scanned and run. In the case that there are exported functions, I will be able to see them directly in the dashboard. Another cool feature of MetaCall is that we scan ports that are open and we expose them, so my Express will be accessible and ready to rock. as soon as the deployment process finishes, of course. In the meantime, we can check the logs and see what's going on with the builder. Alright, deployment's ready. As I mentioned before, it opened port 8080, as we can call a service. It deployed a function called subscribe. We can see both parameters in place. And the other files we've selected are now also published. Let's get the MailChimp webhook set up now. First, we take the URL for the service and paste it in the MailChimp webhook configuration page. The route webhook, some checks, and create. That should do it. Now let's try out the subscription. What it should do is create a new subscribe entry in the audience. That should trigger their webhook and then hit the service, creating the entity in the DynamoDB. I've created the static page just to call the subscribe and return whether it's subscribed or not. Let me show you the code quickly. You can check the complete code example on the description below. So let's focus on the JavaScript fetch. It takes the base URL and makes a call to async/subscribe. That's it. Let's see it live. We place an email and send it. Okay, it's subscribed. Let's check DynamoDB. Let's do refresh. And it looks like it worked. That's it. We just deployed a static page, a service, and a serverless function in a couple of minutes, created a newsletter self-contained solution. I hope you liked the video, and if you want to know more about MetaCall, follow us on Twitter as MetaCall.io. I'll leave the links in the description. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.